Hello there and welcome to another edition of the program. I am Victor Matthias. Now it's been over 365 days since President Muhammadu Buhari took over the reign of affairs in Nigeria after 16 years of trying. His campaign was anchored on the promise of change, but to what extent has he delivered on this promise? Today on the program, we will be asking Nigerians what they have witnessed so far. But let's begin by going through the trending topics in the past week. Nigerians were treated to a football feast by kids below the age of 13 at the Channel's National Kids Cup. The kids displayed tantalizing trickery, scored breathtaking goals, and at the end of the tournament, representatives of Kaduna State won the trophy and will have the bragging rights for the next 1 year. Ese Oruru, the teenager who was allegedly abducted and impregnated by Yunus Ahiru, a Kano indigene, has been delivered of a baby girl in Yenagoa, Bayelsa State. Her baby came on Thursday at about 10:15 a.m. at the Government House Clinic in the state capital. Well, congratulations to all the champions that graced the 8th edition of the Channel's National Kids Cup, and congratulations to SA as well. However, moving forward, I'm now being joined by a political scientist who is specialized in African comparative politics, Yahya Yakubu. He joins us from Istanbul in Turkey.
Good afternoon. Thank you for having me, Victor.
We're also joined by an infrastructure analyst, Patrick Imor, and he joins us from Eket in Akwa Ibom State. We also have the operations manager at Budget Nigeria, that's Stanley Achonu. He joins us from Lagos, Nigeria.
Thank you for having me, Victor.
And lastly, but not the least, we have a chemist, Adamu Dankore, and he joins us from Iowa in the United States. Well, let me just begin with you, Stanley. Let me give you what will be referred in football parlance as the home advantage. How will you say the president has performed so far?
Victor, it's been mixed. Expectation was quite high. Understandably so, because there were a lot of promises made, and there wasn't any attempt to calm expectation level in the campaigns. The impression was created that things would turn out. So yes, it's been mixed feeling. A few successes here and there, but people have largely been very disappointed at the pace at which this administration has tackled even very obvious issues. And there are numerous of them that they could have acted faster than they did. Prime example is simple appointment of ministers. The president did say he would take a lot of time to find the best hands to appoint. And then when he made the list public, I could have appointed those same people for him before he won the election. So there wasn't any big revelation in the list of the ministers that he took several months to appoint, and that has built the foundation on which we will assess his government on all how the economy has been managed. The lack of the non-appointment of ministers on time has badly impacted the economy, as we have seen recently with the inflation results and the statistics released by the Bureau of National Bureau of Statistics, which has clearly shown that the economy has tanked. In terms of corruption, in terms of fight against Boko Haram, he has made clear effort to tackle those issues, but I think that at the basis of whatever here stems from the fact that he stalled so long to appoint his ministers, thereby making it almost impossible for them to get to work immediately as they had promised to hit the ground running.
If you look at corruption-wise, like he said, there's been, I don't know, surmountable amount of effort in curbing this neo-patrimonial nature of politics, client-patron relationship of politics that we practice in Nigeria. So as regards corruption and security, there's been some amount of, there's been satisfaction in main quarters. But you look at electricity, for example, there's been a shortfall in electricity supply, there's been a shortfall in fuel supply, there's been increase in forex rate. And these things are for obvious reasons. First of all, we need to understand that the electricity providing firm is being privatized by the last administration. There have been sabotages to, the government is like an overseeing function. There's a Ministry of Energy which oversees this function of these companies that provide these services. So there's a need to put in more effort in other aspects, like economy-wise. The average Nigerian today is not smiling. Things are really bad as compared to what they were in the previous administration. But again, we need to look into the fact that we don't have the resources to implement the intended policies of the promises of this. Most promises made during the campaign, the government doesn't have as much resource as it used to have to, implement these policies. So in my opinion, this is going to take quite a time. There's going to be cries from all quarters of the country, but there are prospects because the capital market is on a rebound. If you Mr. Stanley, you're a budget person, so you should follow this closely. The capital market is on a rebound. There are prospects, but it's a long-time prospect. We shouldn't expect any growth or development in a short-term period. It's not feasible.
So far, so good. It's been, from my own perspective, a wonderful 1 year. Everything didn't go quite well, but I think he's making good enough efforts in leading Nigeria the right way. I'm just going to speak about his performance in different sectors. Let me start with the fight against Boko Haram. I think he's done pretty much well in that regard, considering what happened and how the fight was in the previous administration. Used to getting this news about Haram doing this and doing that, and that has drastically reduced. As regards the economy, we are not doing quite well. That cannot be blamed on the present administration because our revenue was basically rested on oil, and we do not drive the price of oil in the international market. Oversupply is what has caused the price of oil to drop. So you can't basically blame that on the government. Good enough, we're diversifying the economy, going into other aspects in terms of mining, in terms of agriculture. So I also feel he's doing a lot as well in that regard.
The most important thing to me is the devolution of powers. For me, that is the first thing that the administration should have done. But before I come to that, let me say something about security. The fight of Boko Haram. I think there has been a recorded success on that. But I think for me, Victor, what stood to me and what I was looking for when Buhari came to power was the devolution of powers. I was hoping that, as they have in the APC manifesto, to devolve powers, back to our states, back to our local governments, even back to our communities. That hasn't been done. For me, that is the most important thing, and because it isn't there, none has been done, or none has been done or proposed, at least at the moment. At least not that I'm aware of. And something like this, the devolution of powers that I was expecting, would be something that would require constitutional amendment, because Victor, to me, that is our Nigeria's biggest problem.
All right, guys, hold it for a minute. We'll take a quick break and we'll be back in a moment. Join us again.